Well, welcome back. Thank you for returning. And there's great emphasis during this period regarding people returning. Now, I said it's a big term, teshuva, to return. It's an ongoing term, and it involves a lot. It's about returning to a state of decency, of kindness, of compassion, of congruence, of holiness. And not everybody's ready to return. And so, friends, learn to value and acknowledge the partial efforts to change and to improve. And our sages actually praised this even more. And it was called hirhure, teshuvah, which was the mere desire to improve. We all have a desire to improve. We don't always all act on it, but the desire is so important. Now, we may not always be able to fulfill our spiritual aspirations to the extent we would like. Quite often, we never do it to the extent we would like. And so we should learn to view our desire to change ourselves as our tools of purification and sanctification. Now, keep that in mind during the 10 days of awe as you go through your self-examination of who you were, who you are, who you want to be. Now, as you begin to mark the period of introspection, when you face that mirror of self, you may see things you like, you may see things you do not like. Do not berate yourself. Praise yourself for recognizing where you can get back on track. Now, we're about to transition into the next year by observing the first day of the 7th month and the 10th day, the Day of Atonement. And that's a hell of a term and concept, to atone. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the 10 days of awe, the Yamim Noraim. Now, this marks our transition between the first and second half of the year, between the internal and the external forces of nature, of the universe, between what we intended and what we actually did. Now, for these 10 days, examine yourself. It begins with the shofar as a call to listen and ends with a day of atonement, a day of at-one-ment. And all this week, when you see your friends, or actually anybody you see, greet them by saying, Ketiva v'chatima tova, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. And in so doing, you actually invoke the 3 stages of the spiritual order of these days of repentance. See, on Rosh Hashanah, or Yom Teruah, God opens the book of judgment of man, and here it is written, Ketiva, what will be decreed. And it sits there pending your repentance and your kavanah, your intentions. And the judgment is then sealed, chatima, on Yom Kippur by the heavenly court. Now, there are 3 special books. The book of the righteous, whose names are inscribed immediately. The book of evil, whose names are also inscribed immediately, and they're just both sealed, and that's the end of it. And the book that is there for the rest of us, those who have done some good, some bad. This is when your name is inscribed in the book of life. Your name is written in at the beginning of the 10 days and is sealed at the end. And the process you go through is where you search your soul for the negatives you have done and seek forgiveness for them. First and foremost, from any individual you may have harmed, and secondarily, or if that option's not possible, then certainly from God. And don't forget to seek it from the harshest judge of all, yourself. Yes, I'm talking about you. And probably at some point during these 10 days, and certainly on the day of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, no prayer is more chanting and meditative or more important than the Shema. 6-word prayer, the single most important prayer in Judaism and the cornerstone of monotheism, the high point of every service. And you can picture each word contained in one of the points of the Jewish star. Now, this is a prayer that's actually said daily, and it's one of the few that's found in the Torah, in Deuteronomy. Now, it's actually 2 lines, and everybody who's Jewish knows the prayer, and they sing the tune to themselves. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Now, the second line that most people don't say, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam, Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God. The Lord is one. Blessed be his name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. Now, what a fantastic little ode to God. Now, that's our version. The actual biblical version was actually a little bit different. Deuteronomy would not have used the word Adonai. And we say Adonai because we're not supposed to say the name of God. If you look in Deuteronomy, don't read the English translation, read the Hebrew. It actually used the 4-letter name of God that God told Moses to use. The Yod He Vav He, or Yahweh, as we would pronounce it, a name with meaning. So biblical man would have said, listen, he who wrestles with God, Israel, he who causes to be, Yahweh, is our God. He who causes to be is the one alone. Yes, now many people, have to think about things a little bit differently when they hear the prayers it was. And while many people have wished me a Happy New Year, somehow Happy New Year does not quite catch the essence of what this holiday is really all about. And friends, before the book is sealed, you have 10 days to examine, to think, to reflect on your intentions, your kavanah, your thoughts, your words, your actions. And you have access to the miraculous mechanism that guarantees everything gets cleaned up. Ask forgiveness. Ask forgiveness from others, from yourself, from God. Give forgiveness. Think about whether you've done harm to anybody. If you've done harm to, the sacred, we all do something. And, remember especially about yourself. And all of this is in preparation for the culmination of everything and the sealing of the book on Yom Kippur. Like I say, that is the day the books are sealed. So you have 10 days to fix things now. This is a holiday of listening. And what we are to listen to is to what goes on within ourselves. And what's truly the highlight of the service for everyone is, of course, the shofar, the great horn blowing. Now, according to Maimonides, although the sounding of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is a decree of Holy Writ, it also has profound meaning. For it seems to say, awake from your sleep, O slumberers, arouse from your slumbers. Examine your deeds, return in repentance, remember your Creator. Now those of you who forget the truth and the follies of time and go astray the whole year in vanity and emptiness, which neither profit nor save, look to your souls. Improve your ways and works. Abandon every one of you his evil course and the thought that is not good. Thank you, Maimonides, for those fantastic words. Now, this is about our task of not just healing ourselves, but it's about our role in tikkun olam, the healing of the world, something that we all actually participate in. Now, there's a meaning in how the sounds of the shofar are done. It's sounded in 3 distinct types of sound. 1 blast, 3 blasts, 12 blasts. And I'm so embarrassed because I actually left my shofar where I'm going to be doing the services, so I actually don't have it with me, so please forgive me. And you have to go onto the internet and find the sound of the shofar so you can hear it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshenu mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lishmo al kal shofar. Blessed are you, ruler of the universe, who sanctified us with commandments, who's commanded us to hear the voice of the shofar. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season. And that's something we say at every great occasion. Now, the one long, uninterrupted blast that lasts for several seconds, it's called a tekiah. And at your service, you will hear, the chazanah, the rabbi, call out tekiah, and then the sound of the shofar. The 3 medium-length blasts, it's called shevarim, and you'll hear them called out. And the 12 short blasts, even though most of your books will say that it's 9 or 10 short staccato sounds, it's actually 12, is teruah, as in Yom Teruah, the day of the horn blast. And it all ends with one extra long note, the tekiah gedolah. Now, there's a formula for why these numbers and the amount of sounds was actually chosen. 1, the teruah, the one source of all, God, echad, the one. 3, the shevarim, creation. God created man and woman, and man and woman create, but it took the 3 to bring creation as we know it to fruition. Now, energetically, it represents the 3 columns of the tree of life: mercy, judgment, balance, male, female, neutral. Atomically, it's protons, neutrons, electrons, the 3 of the building blocks of life. Now, the 12, the energies governing the world. And it's seen by the 12 energies of the zodiac. The original calendar played out, of course, as the 12 sons and 12 tribes of Jacob, right? The 12 tribes of Israel. Later, it became the 12 disciples of Christ. Later, still the 12 Knights of the Round Table. Now, ancient man understood the subtle differences and nuances and used metaphors to explain how the world worked. And friends, from me to you, Ketiva v'chatima tova, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. Shana tova umtuka, for a good and sweet year for every one of you. Now, bless you all. Thank you for joining me. And I will look forward to seeing you next year. Take care. Bye.